So hey guys, today we're going to be building another infinite grind deck because I've done this once before and we've gotten like quite a few new cards since then. I kind of want to see what I can come up with now. So I mean the obvious pick, like because it's so broken in infinite recursion, I'm thinking just Orcus is insane, right? Why would I say no to Orcus, right? Is Orcus actually better now? Uh, Maybe like the Link one actually helps you recycle a lot, and then Enmil pretty crazy for recycling too. Like just all these cards are like insanely good at recycling. Like Dinkirsu's actually pretty good at recycling as well. So for the infinite recursion that we want, I think we need at least two Galatea. Not sure if we need Longirsu or not, honestly. So let's just real quickly just map this out in my head. What ends up happening here. So I will, let's say, remove a guy. Okay. Girsu. We have Girsu. Okay. Girsu effect. Trigger all these guys. And then we can recycle these guys just infinitely. And just we can keep special summoning them. Not sure if we can keep sending them off the field. That's actually a problem. If we can't get them into the graveyard, actually. We need to be able to get things off the field. That's actually a problem, legitimately. This doesn't send our own cards. I'm pretty sure it's only your opponent's cards. Yeah. So how about this one? Send one card on the field to the graveyard. Nice. That helps a little bit. Let's kind of go through the line. So you pass essentially on Orchestrated Babel plus Orcus Nightmare. And then you cycle through all of these guys, and then this banishes a card. We can recycle, technically, with Galatea. We can special summon cards here. We can link summon into this, and then special summon Ding. And when we banish cards, we can recycle World Wand as well, technically. Yeah, we can recycle World Wand. We can special summon these guys back. If we special summon a Galatea or Enlil we should be able to technically put things back into our deck, add to your hand. This is probably able to add extra deck cards, right? Quote unquote, to the hand. Wait, then you can shuffle one card from it. I'm actually not sure because it says then. It's confusing, but it's optional. Even more confusing. So if you do A, then do B, right? So if I do not add a card to my hand, I just can't resolve the other half of this effect, right? But I should still be able to put cards, I think, extra deck cards back into the extra deck with that effect, probably. So we can also banish them to give us stuff to link into, right? In theory. So that's actually a reason to play Lungirsu, because this is a link 3. We can, if we need to, I'm not sure if we will need to, we can put 3 monsters in general, so it doesn't have to be an Orcus monster technically. So if we throw in another archetype, we'll be able to link that off for Longirsu and then climb back into Enlil after we maybe recycle Enlil. Maybe we banish Enlil with like Galatea, not sure. We can special summon this back also. Actually, doesn't this banish itself with its own effect? Yes, so it doesn't need to be banished with this effect. Okay. And then this can get even more bodies off the field, potentially. Seems legit. And then this can start helping us recycle some stuff into the graveyard to make sure we always have like maybe a harp or a nightmare that we can resolve. And we'll keep kind of like building these up, right? And also, I don't think we'll be able to deck out because of like how insanely good Orcus Nightmare is at venting that, right? So the line for this, I think it was like Orcus Nightmare effect. Banish yourself, send. You send World Wand to the graveyard. World Wand. You special summon the Orcus Nightmare. World Wand is now banished. We shuffle back the World Wand. And then Orcus Nightmare, it just gets into the graveyard again somehow. Boom. Orcus Nightmare effect, sending World Wand. And it's like an infinite loop. And this just stops you from decking out, essentially. That's all this is really good for, I think, right? Kinda. What if I draw this? What if I draw the World Wand? That's a problem. Harpor. What if I draw Harpor? Actually, no wait, you can shuffle cards back. I can shuffle like Harpor back into the deck, technically, from hand. Because of Enlil Girsu. And then we also still have like Galatea. Technically, we can have multiple of these guys banished at any given time. And then this actually helps us get World Wand out of the hand, actually. In some cases, right? With the fact that discard card and whatnot. Yeah, that should work, right? In theory, I think so. We can even do ideas like Enlil Girsu effect to send the field spell, and then we can add the field spell back with the link one to discard a card from our hand. Like, yeah, and then we'll be able to activate the graveyard effect, and then we'll be able to shuffle that card back, hopefully. So, I'm gonna just say for now, it'll probably work. So, what else? What does this card grab back, actually? World Legacy cards. But it has to be banished, specifically. What about you? What do you banish? An Orchist only. So, that's unfortunate, because there was potential with World Legacy. Specifically, it was... I don't remember the name of the card, actually. It's like really goofy. It's just like a generic-ish Monster Reborn, from what I remember. Let's see. Awakens? No, not that one. Sora? No, that's the Omni. Not that one either. Not that one either. This one. Banish one World Legacy monster from your hand or face up from your field, then target 2 monsters in your graveyard. Special summon them, but they cannot attack this turn. Landmark effect. That could help us with recursion of some things. For some other recursion, I'm thinking, like, yeah, this pattern makes sense, right? It's mostly now an issue of I'm thinking how to get stuff off the field. I'm not really worried about how to make this end board at the moment. I mean, in the last video, I think I actually made a combo that kind of went into some sort of like combo for this. So with Dispatter, we have the effect to shuffle back any banished card. So that's helpful, I guess. And then we can special summon a light or dark monster that is banished. So, do we have a solid way to banish our own cards in the graveyard if we wanted to for Dispatter? I mean, Bistrals in general do that, but then Bistrals actually have the problem of clogging up zones, but with like the Lunk Girsu and Lil Girsu kind of tech of them being just Link 3 and Link 4, we should probably be able to relatively easily clear those bodies if we don't want them. So, yeah, Bistrals, I guess. Even if we're not summoning them on the opponent's turn, we should be able to summon it on our turn, I'm thinking. Probably, right? Our own turn. And then that can trigger Branded Regain, but we have no way to recycle Branded Regain. So, yeah, I'm starting to not like this as much. If we had a way to recycle Branded Regain, that'd be, like, pretty solid. I mean, like, we kind of do, right? It's not that good, in my opinion. Like, we could technically SP banish Branded Regained and then have Dispatter trigger. This is only when your opponent activates a monster effect, unfortunately, but if they activate a monster effect, we can destroy that monster, shuffle back Branded Regained, and then technically get Branded Regained back with Lubellion. So, the grind, don't get me wrong, is like really good because this can recycle technically in combination with SP, right? We can SP banish itself plus whatever, recycle SP, resummon SP, banish any card in our graveyard. Then later, Dispatter shuffles that card back. In theory, kind of. It's a bit jank, but it would work, right? But it's not like consistent enough for me here, I don't think. Like, technically not useless deck, but it's not the best thing for like the goal of eternal grind game. Also worth mentioning like Ryziel, like this deck has a pretty good grind game. If you don't remove their Ryziel Cross, because this will just keep shuffling back all of their Ryziel cards, including their like spells and traps, which is nice. While you still have this card. Well, I mean it's banned now, so there's also that. But okay, what do we have here? What options? Infinite recursion, infinite grind. Yummy, no, because overlapping field spells sucks. But let's see. You have no way to recycle the field spells once they're banished. If we played the bestial stuff, that would do it. So bestial yummy might be a route we can kind of go. Orcus is kind of just crazy though. Good idea that you could kind of maybe do is I'm thinking like, well, there are garnets involved and stuff, which kind of sucks, but you know, destroyer, Phoenix Enforcer, right? Good old DPE. If you like rotate summon DP, super easy to summon. DP just consistently comes back, and you can remove multiple cards with DP. You know, it's kind of useful just for clearing out your own zones. I'm not 100% sure if we need that because we now have Enlil Girsu and also Long Girsu that we can just hopefully consistently recycle. I mean, you don't even need a search target to recycle cards here with like Galatea and Long Girsu, so maybe, right? It's just a matter of like, if this card gets banished, I mean, in theory, if I Dispatter, I can bring this back with Dispatter, right? If it gets banished. If it's in the graveyard, it counts as properly summoned. I could Monster Reborn it. But like, what am I reborning this with exactly, right? Like, is there anything? What is Abao AQ? Not a Light Fiend. Dark Fiend. Is there another archetype with as much recursion? Because like honestly, that the only thing you need for like Orcus combo is you just send Arporer, and then like that's good enough. Or like Orcus Nightmare, you send one of these two, you get access to them somehow. Boom, full Orcus combo. And then you know it just has the infinite recursion kind of thing going. So that's like kind of nice. Wait a second. Well, it's not useful for this in particular, but I think there's like pretty moderately good recursion with this archetype, I think. Let's see. Radiant Typhoon. We have the idea of like all these spells and traps and your MSDs, they get recycled by Radiant Typhoon Mandate. If Mandate is removed, you can easily reset this. And it's actually genuinely very hard to out Radiant Typhoon Mandate, right? How could you possibly remove this actually? So if you were to try to banish this with Cosmic Cyclone or something, I can just pop the card. And I can also just negate your card. So you would have to send Mandate to the graveyard. And then you would need to banish it then. So if you didn't send it to the graveyard, of course it's still on field, so you can't banish it. If you try to banish it on field, I can send it to the graveyard with MST. There are those ideas actually. So this is like impossible to banish basically. Worth mentioning, I guess, is that this recycles any play spells in your graveyard. So that's kind of free, actually. But I'm realizing just now, how am I forgetting the king of grind games? Memento. Memento just is fully self recycling and all that nonsense. So that just works. I mean, we don't necessarily have to care about like the quality of negates or anything. Do we have a threat of being decked out actually even? No, because you shuffle back your monsters constantly. And if your monsters are banished, you can recycle them. If your cards are banished in general in that archetype, you can kind of recycle those as well. I don't remember how far you can really go, right? Um, I guess if you have a way to continuously banish my cards, that'd be problematic. But if not, I should be able to just still recycle all my cards, like, relatively without too much of a problem. I think we don't play the field spell. I think that's the only difference, which is like fine. You don't need the field spell to do a memento combo if we were playing it in theory together with Orcust. So that's like fine. With the Radiant Typhoon stuff, there's like one lock here. It's not really a super big deal. It's just on this card here, the Magala. Anything else though? Hmm. I mean, we aren't really going to be spamming out quick plays because you also want to have quick plays you can kind of search and stuff, right? And technically, the monsters in this archetype don't actually get recycled, right? Do they? Quick plays only. None of your cards in the graveyard go back, so you actually can genuinely run out names. And you only have so many copies of like Vararoon to recycle the Contrap. So it's kind of like iffy. Let's see, for Memento though. I believe the only thing that recycles from Vanish is actually just Akirin, specifically when this is destroyed. One of your other Memento cards, okay? Is there a way for me to put the Water Akahiran back in my deck from Banish? And I have to be able to do this consistently. Is there a way I can do that? Aqua? Levels? Or... Nope. There's like... Oh. Got to put this in. If we have two of these... We have access to Levier, technically. But it's too high level, so it's not even a play. Okay, I guess. Well, I mean, Memento in general is still like good for like its insane infinite grind. One thing this deck has going for it for sure is that it's like infinite grind. I guess we don't need Sleepy. Normally I don't play Akiran in hybrid builds, but like for the purposes of this one, it just makes sense to do so, right? I don't know, it's just like all these guys just recycle themselves. Essentially. You have the combined creation recycling, and then you have like the fusion. If this gets banished, we can technically recycle that with our copy of Akiran. If Akiran gets banished, there's absolutely nothing we can do about it. And yeah, I mean, at that point, is there a way to unbanish a card? I just can't think of anything off the top of my head right now. These cards actually infinitely recycle as well. Technically, right? This only adds spells or traps. So if we can't return these to the deck, this actually runs out targets and you can't do the destroy effect after a certain point in time. Yeah, that's never come up for me, so I'll just think on that for a bit. I think it would help if we actually had access to the field spell. Then, in this case, how can I just put cards back in my deck? Oh, right, I forgot. We have this. This actually has infinite grind too. With Restaurant at Table. I think, right? You can target 2 cards in your graveyard, including a recipe card, so you can shuffle back anything from your graveyard into the deck with this card. But the downside here is it's a field spell. Right. Of course. Why would things be that easy? Bash card. Returns. Anything. Graveyard card, return, graveyard card. I think Novels is genuinely like the only archetype I can think of that has any generic way to just return any card from the graveyard back to the deck. Useful in case you want to like maybe search stuff during another turn, right? This doesn't actually fully resolve anything though either, because technically, if it's during my end phase, I'm still drawing a card, so it doesn't have the genuine infinite grind game I'm looking for anyways. Not by itself at least, because it's not putting enough cards back. Like Ryzeal's putting more cards back, right? You put 2 cards back and then you draw 1, so you're actually getting more cards back into your deck with that. You're not with this. You go even, right? Don't you? No, wait, you don't, because you're placing 1 ritual monster. Wait, that's the wrong effect. 2 cards here, and then you draw 1 card. No, you are putting cards back in gradually, but it's like insanely slow. If you were to want to search that card, that doesn't actually really work. The effect of like the Memento guys though, pretty insane, because it can just put back like 8 cards technically. Like if I resolve fusion plus combine creation, that puts back like 8 cards back into my deck. That's pretty good, I guess. Now that I think about it, actually, is this card actually a dark? No, it's an earth. Unfortunately, otherwise I might be able to banish this or something. Use this shuffles. Oh, that's only shuffle surf machines, not just machines in general. Even if it did shuffle machines, it's not like doing a whole lot for us here. And if cards are recyclable, like if there's a card that recycles some cards, we need to also be able to recycle that card too, like in case we need to do it again and whatnot. Otherwise, it's not really infinite grind, is it? Oh, we can just do this. We can just make Omega, right? But we need infinite synchro kind of material for Omega. So we should always be able to make Omega. If we can't always make Omega, what's the point of playing Omega, right? So how can we always make Omega? We need permanent access to a tuner. Well, Press Bombard's a tuner. The levels are hard though, but we don't have to do this immediately necessarily. And this technically can put banished cards into our graveyard. And then you have to out Omega. Now that if you have to out my Omega, then Dispatter. Dispatter can get me access back to my Omega, because this is at 1. It makes sense. And funnily enough, there's a dragon in this deck. Okay, that just works. And then what tuner do we have? So specifically now that we have a dragon to make Dispatter with, like it just has to be a non-tuner dragon. What now? I'm thinking we want a level 2 tuner that is a synchro. And the reason being, I mean, we can just make it, right? In theory. Hopefully there's something that can just recycle itself, right? All of your opponent's cards lose 500 attack. Okay. Nothing. Let's think about this for a second. We have level 6, right? Don't we? Do we? Do we not? Do we have level 6 here? No level 6 monster. Okay. But that's fine because we have Brass Bombard still. I mean, this is not immediate, but we can go into one of these guys, right? Wait, this can bring back any non-tuners. Does lock you for the rest of this turn into synchro monsters, but if we genuinely don't care, then that'd be fine. Well, that's kind of funny. Never really realized that. Okay. What else do we got then? Hmm. 7, 9. Oh, that makes 10. Oh, this is like a recycling fiend. We can just throw in like a Baron, and then like, what synchro 2 do we even genuinely care about? That just draws us a card. Like, I don't think I even care about that. So let's just get the shrimp, because we can just recycle this anyways. That's optional effect. And then the fact that quick synchro doesn't actually fully matter. It just matters that we have level 1, so we can like fast bombard plus goblin or mace, whatever. And then that will allow us to go into sapper shrimp, I guess. And then we can go into like that'll be for dispatter, and that can recycle the omega if it's banished. And then we can recycle these cards with like, we can recycle Baron technically as well. Like shuffle this back with the effect of omega. We can even like link off omega if we're feeling like it, right? And then if we make Baron, we can just tag out into like dispatter if we need to do that, right? And then we can recycle Baron with effect of omega. I think we've done it. Everything here is pretty efficient now. And this returns any card too. So if I actually wanted to return like Fracture Dance to my deck with the effect of Omega, I should be able to do that, yeah? Self once returned, target a bash card. No, wait, that's the wrong effect. If this card is in your graveyard, you can target one other card in the graveyard, shuffle both that card and this card from the graveyard into the deck. Cool. Works good enough for me. And then, because of this, like, I guess technically, since we can just recycle a lot more now, well, let's see, how do you break this loop anyways? Is this breakable? If you remove my Baron, my Omega, and my Dispatter and make them like inaccessible, they all have to be like pretty much banished, right? So you'd have to banish this, but if this is banished, this can unbanish this, so you have to also get rid of this. And then this can still technically, can this go into anything? No. But wait, how did you even out my Omega? Because Omega bashes itself, right? With that quick effect. So, yeah, it's probably fine. Surely. I guess we could also play like Sam Sarasoro Cat, technically. 7. I guess this is fine because we can like synchro Baron and stuff, right? Or synchro 4 Baron, and then this can put like Dispatter back in our deck actually, and also like Sapper Shrimp technically can also be returned. We just have to be a little bit careful with this. But this should just be enough recursion to get us through like most situations, as long as we can get some form of setup going. Probably. We don't make the synchros funnily enough on like the first turn, because that's just not going to be reasonable or easily possible. So that's kind of funny. I think we do want to play like one additional copy of something, like a World Legacy monster. So World Legacy Crown, I guess, would help. If we had just a generic way to kind of banish World Legacy cards, the Orcus cards actually would have hard carried like any strategy by itself, which is crazy. But yeah, now we can return Akiran if it's banished with Omega. I forgot Omega had that effect genuinely until I remembered. So did I really forget? Maybe I guess I forgot a little bit. But yeah. Let's see. Return it to the extra deck, can't do special summon this card, but banish it when it leaves the field. Okay. It's fine if this gets banished because we can just return it to the graveyard with like Omega. And then that's fine. Whenever Omega goes to the graveyard, we can also put this back. We can also just leave this in the graveyard, honestly. It's not like that worse for wear. We don't have to resummon Samsara or Cat or anything, right? And that just gives us a way to recycle the Baron as well. And technically also like maybe Dispatter. Special summon a banish card. Is there another way we could do this? Yeah, I just can't think of anything, so just slap in an extra Dispatter, so you have to out Dispatter twice, actually. And if you don't out them fast enough, then I'll recycle the other Dispatter, and now you'll have to out Dispatter like a total of 3 times. And then you'll still have to out my, like, Frame Lord Omega and all that, right? For now, I guess I'll call this good enough. I can't think of anything that would special summon my guys, just in general, or recycle banish guys. Like, definitely not easily, at least. So yeah, that's the infinite grind game deck, except I forgot to put in SP Little Knight because technically SP plus Dispatter by itself, like you don't actually even need regain. Like this it does a lot actually. So yeah, you'd probably need to rebalance this deck list a little bit. Also, like this main deck, I don't even want to talk about how disgusting this deck list is, but yeah, I mean, if it gets the job done, it gets the job done, right? So yeah, that's all I got for you guys today, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.